That Zen life is whole health, wellness, and healing.
That Zen life is definitely recovery.
That Zen life es comunidad.
That Zen life is self-care.
Zen life is
support. It's a lot of us taking care of everybody else except taking care of ourselves. And that's what I saw myself doing. I saw myself taking care of my kids. I was workaholic. I was taking care of my husband. I was taking care of my friends. I was taking care of my grown kids. And I wasn't taking care of me.
Hey guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, David.
Good morning.
And good morning to everybody. And good morning to everybody out there. I am your girl, Percilla Zeno. I am the healing partner. I am also the author of I Am Healing, the 7 Secrets to Wellness and Self-Care. And I am here with my co-host, Simon.
Hi, I'm Simon Timm. I'm the author of An Introduction to the Self-Salutation, and I'm excited to be here with the Healing Partner. And we're here with our special co-host, guest co-host, David Hodge.
Hey guys,
David?
good morning.
Can you introduce?
Can you guys not hear me?
We can barely hear you, David. Can you speak up a bit? I think there's like a little bit of a delay. Okay, all right. Well, we'll bring him back in a moment. But for those of you who do not know David is a That Zen Life Wellness Foundation peer recovery support specialist, volunteer for our nonprofit, and this live is brought to you by That Zen Life Wellness Foundation. And we're here today because I want to really kind of dive into our topic of discussion. Our Wellness Wednesday topic of discussion is showing up over showing out. So when you first heard this title, did you kind of have an idea of what it was?
Showing up. I know. Showing out. That's an intriguing one. I
kind of came up with that because I saw this article, and the article. Hey, David! Yay! We got you back.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
That's okay. Really speaking to the mic though, we can barely hear you. So I was reading this article, and the article it just touched so close to home, and it wasn't really an article. It's actually a blog, and it was written by Christy Sigler. And basically, what she was talking about during the holidays, because we have like dysfunctional families, and it's not, that all people, have the same type of family. Obviously, we all are different. We all come from different backgrounds. We all come from, different parts of the world. But at the end of the day, we all may share something with regards to maybe a dysfunctional family member. And I thought it was such a great topic because I come from a family. Can you hear me?
You could just drop member off of that and just say dysfunctional family.
Right, exactly. So I just was like, okay, I come from a family where, I have my siblings that I grew up with, but then I have like several siblings that I did not grow up with. And a lot of times when we get together, sometimes, it gets a little dysfunctional But I figured, I know that I'm not the only one, obviously. I'm not a qualified mental health professional, but I have had the experience to speak on the fact of being in the environment of, a dysfunctional family. How about you guys?
Okay, so here's how you talk about gathering for Christmas. I come from a family where the family I grew up with predominantly was my father and stepmother. It was like a Brady Bunch scene, so there were 5 kids.
Right.
There's not a single, we've celebrated Christmas. There's not a single Christmas in the last 30 years where any 2 children were together with my parents at that Christmas. That's how it was, just like over, out, and that's.
Oh my gosh. What about you, David?
My family's a little weird at Christmas. My sister and I don't do anything. Like if we decide which parents' house we're going to for the holidays, and if we can't decide, neither of us will go.
Wow. Well, I know that. Can you guys hear me okay? I feel like there's a little bit. Is there any feedback?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel like, Did you say, is there a tad bit feedback?
There's something a little bit I'm hearing somewhere, but I'm not sure where it's coming from.
A little bit of funkiness going on. Hold on one second. Is that better?
Maybe.
Is that a little bit better? Or worse? Maybe worse. Can you hear me a little better now? I'll turn it down a bit.
I can hear you okay, but there's just a little loop coming on. Just keep going.
Okay, all right. So bottom line is that the thing that we have to kind of remember is, there are ways that we can actually survive a dysfunctional family over the holidays. And so as I was reading her blog, and because she is a qualified mental health professional, I decided that I would share these tips because I felt like, these are things that I can attain to. These are things that I can grasp and use, as, I'm moving forward throughout the holidays. And I felt like these were some really good tips that people could not only use, but they could also share with, their family members or their friends as, we're starting to kind of gather for the holiday. So are you guys ready for these 7 tips?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Okay. So here are the 7 tips to survive dysfunctional family holidays. All right. Are you guys ready for this? All right, so tip number 1 is set realistic expectations. All right, so here's what she means by this. What she means basically is that at the end of the day, don't go into this fantasy world when you walk through the door with your family and think that it's going to be a-okay, like nothing's going to happen. Whatever those things are that usually happen when you show up, expect those things to continually happen when you get there. Oh,
those are going to happen again. That's not going to stop.
Expect it to happen. Like, I have, family members that don't know how to hold, like they don't know how to control, their drinking. So, I show up knowing that somebody might get a little out of hand. Somebody might get a little too twisted. And so I make sure that, I kind of plan ahead for that versus kind of getting upset and angry and yelling and screaming. It's just not worth my time. So, so that's the first thing, is making sure that you set realistic expectations. And then, you know what I'm saying, not live in this kind of imaginary zone that everything is not going to be the way it usually is. Step number 2 is focus on gratitude. All right. If you guys have read my book, I Am Healing, The 7 Secrets to Wellness and Self-Care, in secret number 7, I talk about how I focus more on the gratitude of the things that I am joyful about with regards to my father versus the thing that I couldn't.
Did we lose Percilla?
I do believe her internet may have gone out.
Okay. David, do you are you able to help get her back in here?
Give me one moment. I can also pick up on her topic because I've read her book several times.
Yeah, okay. Perfect.
Or the past few months. She's focused more on the gratitude of the general situation versus and she's back. Wait a minute.
Yes. It literally just cut me off. I'm just like, what the heck's going on here? Anywho, step number 2, I was talking about focusing on gratitude. And for those of you who didn't hear me, I wrote in my book, I Am Healing, the 7 Secrets to Wellness and Self-Care. Secret number 7, I talk about how I focus more on gratitude and the things that I loved and the memories that I loved about my dad versus focusing more on the things that he did wrong. So that is tip number 2. So now as we go to tip number 3 and David gets his camera ready, tip number 3 is differentiate yourself. Okay, just because your family might be out of whack doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be out of whack. So don't revert back to those old ugly ways that your family has just because they had them when they do the thing that you hate. Don't go back to the tit for tat. What they do and who they are does not define who you are. So set yourself apart from them and do the thing that's going to make you feel good in the end. So that is tip number 3. I think we all can kind of connect with tip number 3. Tip number 4 is plan ahead. Now, with regards to this planning ahead, I'm telling you guys, this really freaking works. If you know that you've just had an argument with one of your family members and you know that there's a strong possibility, I'm telling you, because my family, whenever there's any kind of argument in the background, when we show up, everybody thinks that's the prime time to talk about it. So, if you don't feel like you're in this space where if they pull you to the side and say, hey, can we go outside to talk? If you don't feel like you're in this space to have that conversation, you need to plan ahead. Plan ahead and say, okay, if so-and-so pulls me to the side, this is what I'm going to say. You know what? I really know that we need to talk about the things that we've been arguing about, but I just don't feel comfortable right now doing it here. Let's schedule a time next week. Or, you know what? I understand that you're still upset. I'm still upset too. If you want, we can go outside and talk about it. I just don't want to talk about it in the room with the rest of the family. You need to pre-plan what it is that you're going to say. If somebody asks you a question, you know what? That's a good question. Let me think about that and come back to you. Whatever it is that you need to plan for those questions and plan your answer out so that when that happens, you don't feel caught off guard, because most people get really pissed off when someone asks them a question that they know is coming and they just don't have the answer to give. So they get upset that the other person brought it up. So plan for that, okay? Now, tip number 5 is reflecting. All right, so here's the deal. The family function, the dysfunctionality, and all of that has happened. The drunk uncle, the judging mom. whatever it is, it's all happening now. It's over with. You're getting in your car to leave. All right. 2 things. First thing is, if you are able to do this, as you pull out of the driveway, put on some kind of Zen music and kind of de-stress for a moment. Okay. And then once you've done that, if you feel like you're at a place where, you know, you're good, then kind of go back and reflect on all the things that were good that happened. And then reflect on all of the things that you didn't like that happened so you could prepare yourself for next year. So this way, if you're preparing yourself for next year because you know what just recently happened, you'll kind of show up and already be ahead of the game. All right. So that's tip number 5, which is reflecting. Now, tip number 6 is find a way to laugh. Now, I don't know about y'all's family, but I'm going to tell you right now that there is something you have to laugh through the worst situations. And I can tell you that each one of us probably has somebody in our family that irritates the hell out of us, but later on we laugh about it, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I want people to find a way to laugh, even if it's through the worst situation. And I'm going to give you an example. Even though my son passed away in 2011, every now and then, and that's, I mean, like that, I think that pretty much qualifies for a worse situation. And even through that, I still find time, you know, to maybe do some pillow talk with my husband. And I'm telling him about, you know, the funny things that David did. And because David was a serious comedian. I mean, David, our David here was really good friends with my son, David. So David was a comedian. He liked to play jokes. He would hide under your bed and just like grab your ankles when you're walking in. Like, he was just funny. So we had to find, you know, the good, you know, amongst the bad. And if you can do that, that will be so awesome. And it'll make you feel good also. Now, this last one, watch a movie. All right. So I'm going to need you guys to hang tight with me on this one. All right. In my book, I talk about the fact that when what I did was from a suggestion of a friend, I decided to get a little file on my computer, and as I find things that are really funny, I would put it in the file so that every single time, if it was a day that I was feeling pissed off at work, I would go to the file and find something funny. And I talk about that in my book. Well, when you are coming back from a dysfunctional family, you need to pull out that Home Alone movie. Because you guys know, Home Alone, you know that family was dysfunctional for sure, right? It was dysfunctional. I mean, for God's sakes, they left the dude at the airport, okay? From all the craziness that was going on in the house. So at the end of the day, you need to find a movie that is funny, that shows another dysfunctional family. What it does is it gives you the sense like you're not the only family that's dysfunctional. It's a lot of damn families that are dysfunctional. It's just that we have to find the humor in that as well, even when we know that there are parts of that may not be so funny. We still have to come home and relieve that tension and get rid of that heavy energy. And so when we're going to find a funny movie, what it does is it kind of relieves all of that. So what do you guys think of these tips? What do you think? Do you think these are some things that you guys can kind of work with, David?
Yes, I love them. And I have a question actually. What are you guys' favorite holiday movies? Like, if you had to pick a movie to watch right now.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's so many. There's one in particular movie with Richard Pryor and Sidney Poitier, where, you know what I'm saying, they're Richard Pryor, Sidney Poitier, and Bill Cosby. And I can't remember what the name of it is called, but you know what I'm saying. Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby, they both have wives, but they go on this crazy excursion and they end up doing this crazy stuff. But I love movies that, you know, when I sit down to watch them, they just take my mind off of what happened at, my mom's house or what happened at my sister's house. Like, that's the whole goal. It's like, and if you feel like, okay, well, I don't want to watch anything that has to do with the dysfunctional family because my family is so dysfunctional, I'd rather just watch a shoot 'em up bang bang movie. Okay, do that as long as you don't go out and do the shoot 'em up bang bang. So what about you, Simon? What do you think about the tips?
I think you've got some great tips. These are definitely gems. What I like what you said about what was tip number 2?
The tip number 2 was focus on gratitude.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry, go to tip number 3 then.
The tip number 3 was
differentiate yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great tip. That's a really interesting tip. Really realizing like, okay, this is my family, but I'm different from that. I'm not totally defined by that. that is where I come from. I think that's a really powerful tip because we feel like we're sort of defined by where we come from.
Yes. Yeah, we do because, my family, we're loud when we get together. We're rambunctious. We love to have a good time. We're very passionate people. The confusion of, when sometimes, like, I have a sister who is always loud. She's always yelling. But somebody else might perceive that as being aggressive. And it's not that she's being aggressive. That's just who she is. She's just loud and rambunctious. And that's okay. But that doesn't define who I am. And that doesn't mean that I have to be where she is. It just means that she is who she is. And I am who I am. And we can be okay with that. So, but I want to go back through these tips so that we can have that, and then I have a little surprise for you guys. We're going to do a little something different. Typically we do some form of meditation or some form of breath connection, but today I wanted to do some music appreciation. But before we do that, I want to pay some bills. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick commercial, and then once we come back, we'll go into that. All right? All right.
That Zen life is whole health, wellness, and healing.
That Zen life is definitely recovery.
That Zen life es comunidad.
That Zen life is self-care.
It's a beautiful cover. I Am Healing, 7 Secrets to Wellness and Self-Care. We need that. We need that.
And we're back. I think we lost David, but let's see if we can get him back. Yay! Okay, all right. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to quickly go back through these 7 tips to survive a dysfunctional family holiday. So the first tip is set realistic expectations. If you already know who's the culprit for showing up drunk, you already know what to expect, so you are already ahead of the game. So just expect that, and then make sure that you're not going into this means of imagining that everything's going to be perfect, because it's not going to be. Okay. Tip two is focus on gratitude. Focus on the good things that someone did, whoever that person is that you're going to have to see during the holidays that you really don't want to see. Try to focus on the good things that came out of that person, and not focus on the bad things, so that when you see them, there's no rolling of the eyes or kissing of the teeth. Tip number 3. Differentiate yourself. Oh my gosh, I hate saying that word sometimes, but set yourself apart from your family, because at the end of the day, they are who you are and you are who you are. Okay? They don't define you. So that means basically you don't have to do the things that they do. Don't go back into those old habits. Tip number 4 is plan ahead. If you already know that someone's going to be asking you an uncomfortable question, that someone is going to pull you to the side to talk about something that you argued about in that last week, plan ahead on what answers you want to give, and then give those answers when you show up, so that this way it doesn't require any kind of back and forth. And if they feel like they're not being receptive, I forgot to mention this, if they feel like they're not being receptive to what it is, you can always disengage. Okay. And that is really key. All right. Tip number 5 is reflect. When you're pulling out the driveway, make sure that you're taking that time to kind of woo-saw, and then reflect on the things that were good that happened. And then also reflect on the things that were not so good, and so that you could prepare yourself for next year. And then tip number 6 was find a way to laugh through the worst situations. I gave a tip earlier about the fact that I still try to find ways to cheer myself up about all of the things that my son used to do, even though my son's no longer here. And then tip number 7, which is watch a movie when you get home, something that's going to bring you joy. I try to pull out those funny dysfunctional family movies, and what it does is just reiterates the fact that at the end of the day, you don't have to feel like you're the only family that's out there. We have a comment from Idella. She says, my sister passed Sunday due to COVID. Family is the most valuable possession that we will ever have. They are not perfect, but we need to remember we love them. Tomorrow is not promised. Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, Adela, I want to say to you that we offer our condolences here at That's in Life Wellness Foundation. And also, we'd like to offer you and anyone else who's had a family member pass, if you'd like some grief support, you can always reach out to us if you're looking for some peer-to-peer support with that. We'd love to help you with regards to that. So you can always reach out to us via email, which is info@thatsinlife.org. Or you can also go to our website, which is thatsinlife.org. And go ahead and contact us, and we'll have someone contact you as soon as we can. I think that Idella made a really good point that family.
Amazing.
Yeah, family is, at the end of the day, our family is who our family is. And we have to do everything that we possibly can to try to love on them. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that, we are also taking care of ourselves. She said, thank you so much. She was a frontline worker and gave her life to save others. Wow. Well, we are sending out special prayer to you, and we're sending out love and light to your family right now. And we want to make sure that, that everyone, don't forget to, send some love and light to a lot of the frontline workers out here that are doing their best to make sure that everyone else stays safe. So I hope that you guys enjoy these 7 tips to survive a dysfunctional family holiday. My name, for those of you who do not know me, I am Percilla Zeno. I am the Healing Partner. I am the author of I Am Healing, the 7 Secrets to Wellness Self-Care. And I'm also here with my co-host, Simon.
Hi, I'm Simon Timm. I'm the author of An Introduction to the Self-Salutation. And we're here with our special guest host, David.
Hi guys, I'm David. That's in Life Wellness Foundation peer and volunteer.
So we just want to say thank you guys so much for watching today. We hope that these tips helped. Be well, rock on, and most importantly, fill the negative spaces in your life with positively every single thing that you need. Talk to you guys later. See you later.
That Zen life is whole health, wellness, and healing.
That Zen life is definitely recovery.
That Zen life es comunidad.
That Zen life is self-care.